It was a crisp April afternoon in New York's picturesque Hudson River Valley. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the water, but the beauty of the scene belied the chaos that was about to unfold. The tranquility of the river was shattered by a frantic distress call that would set off a chain of events so bizarre and chilling that it would leave investigators, lawyers, and the public grappling with questions of love, betrayal, and justice. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for in-depth coverage of true crime, unsolved mysteries, and the dark side of history. The call came in to local dispatchers at around 4:30 p.m. A woman's voice, trembling with panic, crackled through the line. 911, what's your emergency? The dispatcher asked calmly. Hi, I'm in the Hudson River, the woman stammered. We were kayaking. My fiancé flipped over. He's in the water right now. He's going to drown. Please, call somebody. The dispatcher, trained to keep callers calm, responded. Help is on the way. Stay on the phone with me, okay? Oh my God, I can't see him anymore. He's gone. The dispatcher tried to keep her focused. You don't see him at all. No, oh my God, he's gone. Angelika's voice was filled with desperation. Within minutes, rescue teams were on the scene, navigating the choppy waters of the Hudson. They managed to pull Angelika, a 35-year-old Latvian bartender, from the frigid river. But her fiancé, Vince, a local Hudson Valley man, was nowhere to be found. The search for Vince's body began immediately, but as the hours turned into days, hope dwindled. Investigators began to piece together what they believed was a tragic kayaking accident. According to Angelika, Vince had been kayaking about 50 feet ahead of her when the wind picked up, the swells grew, and the water became treacherous. Vince's kayak flipped, and he was thrown into the icy river. Angelika claimed she had tried to reach him but couldn't. But as the investigation unfolded, something about Angelika's behavior began to raise eyebrows. While most people would be consumed by grief after such a traumatic event, Angelika's actions seemed unusual. She began posting photos on social media of herself doing shots, smoking cigars, and even doing cartwheels. To some, it seemed like she was celebrating. To others, it was just a strange way of coping. After all, grief manifests differently in everyone. When investigators brought Angelika to the local beach where Vince was last seen alive, her behavior became even more erratic. She was all over the place, emotionally and physically. At one point, an investigator had to ask her, "Angelika, what is wrong with you?" It was then that she began to open up, not about her grief, but about her relationship with Vince. She spoke candidly about their sex life, revealing that Vince had made certain sexual demands that deeply bothered her. Then, out of nowhere, she dropped a bombshell. "You know about the plug, right?" she asked the investigator. Confused, the investigator pressed her. "The plug? What plug?" "The drain plug in his kayak," Angelika replied. "He didn't have it in. That's why his kayak sank." The investigator's eyes narrowed. "Did you take it out?" Angelika hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, I think I did." The revelations didn't stop there. Angelika also admitted to removing a ring from Vince's paddle, rendering it inoperable. When asked why she had done these things, her response was chilling. "I wanted him gone. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be myself." The tide of the investigation turned dramatically. What had initially seemed like a tragic accident now looked like something far more sinister. Investigators brought Angelika back to the station for further questioning. They pressed her on her motives, her actions, and her conflicting statements. At one point, she seemed to confess outright, "I wanted him dead, and now he's gone." But as quickly as she confessed, she backtracked, leaving investigators frustrated and confused. "Why do you keep changing your story?" one detective demanded. "You're confusing me, and that's a problem." Hours into the interrogation, the focus shifted to Angelika's potential motives. Investigators discovered that Vince had a life insurance policy, and Angelika was the beneficiary. When confronted with this information, Angelika's demeanor shifted. She became defensive, evasive, but eventually, under relentless questioning, she admitted, "I wanted him dead, and now he's gone." With those words, Angelika Graswald was charged with second-degree murder. Prosecutors argued that her actions were premeditated, that she had deliberately removed the drain plug and paddle ring to ensure Vince's kayak would sink. But her defense attorney, Richard Portelli, painted a very different picture. He claimed that Angelika had been emotionally manipulated by investigators who had beaten her up emotionally to extract a confession. Portelli argued that Vince often removed his own kayak plug to strap it to his car, and that Angelika's behavior after his death was simply a cultural difference, a reflection of her Latvian upbringing, where open grieving was not the norm. The case took another twist when it was revealed that Angelika had signed over the entire $542,000 life insurance payout to her defense team. She claimed she had no interest in the money, that she cared more about flowers and photographs and sunsets than financial gain. In the end, Orange County prosecutors offered Angelika a plea deal, reducing the charges from second-degree murder to criminally negligent homicide. She was sentenced to 1.5 to 4 years in prison, but was released after serving just 32 months. For the investigators who had worked tirelessly on the case, the outcome was bittersweet. They believed justice had been served, even if it wasn't the verdict they had hoped for. "I'm very proud of what we did," one investigator said. "If it weren't for our work, she might have gotten away with murder." As for Angelika, she returned to her life, free but forever marked by the events of that chilly April afternoon on the Hudson. The case remains a haunting reminder of how quickly love can turn to betrayal, and how the truth can sometimes be as murky as the river itself. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Until next time.